Impressively, just after I finished watching yesterday's video, I looked right around here, and there's a little dude called Tommy Undergallows who I totally failed to notice was there despite going back and forth multiple times. He's got a funny looking face yesterday, but he is there. So, today, what shall we do? We shall speak to each of the companions, one by one, and then we will determine what they have to say. So, let's start with Body Knock. You've got an easy voice. When I heard Arabeth was recruiting people in aid to search in aid in the search for the cult behind the Wailing Death, it was simply a logical leap to assume you would be one of those recruited. What are you doing here, Bodyknock? When we parted ways, Tam, I meant to continue my explorations of the north, but I then heard Arabeth was recruiting mercenaries to join in the search for the cult behind the plague. You may have discovered a cure for the plague, and flushed out those behind it, Tam, but the process by which the Wailing Death was spawned has yet to be determined. Given my scientific interest in the plague, and my desire to ensure it's never again unleashed upon Faerun, it was only logical that I answer Arabeth's call for aid. So you were conscripted into service by Arabeth. When Arabeth recruited the mercenaries, we were all paid in advance for our services. Well paid. Lord Nasher is sparing no expense in tracking down these cultists. Our instructions were simply to make ourselves available to whomever requires our assistance. So in that spirit, is there anything I can do for you? Have you heard any rumors about the cult since you've come here? Oh, we're going to be standing around talking to mercenaries for a little while. So if you're looking for action, you're watching the wrong game. But aside from that, if you're looking for action, you're skip to the next video. Or if you're watching on Twitch, come back in an hour, half an hour, 20 minutes. I don't know. Depends how fast I talk. Which is a good point. Like when I'm doing out people's voices, I should really slow down because I keep on stuttering over words and things. I've heard people claiming the cult has a base in the plains to the south. Others insist there's undeniable evidence of the cult in the forest to the east. Still others swear the cult is hiding in the city of Luskan to the north. Obviously, such rumours and hearsay are of little value. I prefer to put my faith in hard empirical evidence, evidence I can observe with my own two eyes. As yet, I have found no evidence that I consider reliable. Except you speak fast when you're Body Knock, because Body Knock speaks fast. But you must have an opinion of where to start looking. Excuse me. I don't think you understand. Without the proper data to analyze, my evaluation of the situation would result in a hypothesis with an unacceptable margin of error. Unacceptable margin of error. Naturally, I formed some preliminary theories, but if I were to venture my any opinion on this matter, it would be nothing more than a complete and utter guess. So yes, Bodyknock, sometimes you just have to play a hunch. A hunch? You're a strange man, Tam, but I suppose if we were forced to make a guess, I would say we should start our search in the Neverwinter Wood to the southeast of Port Last. Why there? Roots, herbs, and other flora grow in abundance in the forest, many of which can be used to heal a variety of illnesses. It's only logical to assume such plants can also be used to bring sickness and death. Plus, the woods are shunned by most civilized people. They believe they're haunted, making it a perfect place for a secret hideout for a large group. The Neverwinter Wood seems to be the only place that provided the seclusion and materials that would have been necessary for the cult to bring about the Wailing Death. At least that's my best guess. You seem to have some solid reasons for a guess. As I said, I had a preliminary hypothesis. However, I would not be at all surprised to find my theory about Neverwinter Wood to be wrong. So, are you going to investigate the woods? I am an accomplished sorcerer, Tam, but I also have a realistic understanding of my own limitations. Surviving the wilds of this region alone would be a challenge that surpasses my capabilities. Besides, Arabeth has hired us so that we may serve and assist others who are more suited to heroism and great deeds. You are a well-known hero, Tam. If I were to accompany you, I'm certain my skills would be of some use. I could use a sorcerer by my side, Bodyknock. Then I'll be glad to join your cause, Tam. It's an honor to serve with a hero such as you. I will follow you and perform the best of my abilities according to the orders you have given me. Anytime you blah blah. We've heard that before. I just wanted to talk for a while. I am a staunch proponent of the free exchange of ideas, Tam. What is it you wish to know? If we're going to travel together, I'd like to know a little more about you. As you know, I come from Lantan, an island renowned for its inventions and scientific advances. From that, you can rightly conclude that I myself am of an analytical and curious nature. You also know I am a sorcerer, and from that you no doubt draw further conclusions, though in all truth my chosen profession is rather uncommon among the Lantese culture. Why are sorcerers so uncommon in Lantan? The mysteries of the arcane are not as eagerly sought in my homeland as they are in other places. We have inventions to accomplish many of the things others rely on magic to perform. In my homeland, there is no shame attached to what I do. It is merely seen as unusual, though I admit it is not the future my father envisioned for me. I was his eldest son, and I suppose my father wanted me to follow in his own footsteps, but flowers, plants, and gardens never held much interest for me. Was he a druid? Druids worship nature, Tam, but we in Lantan seek to control and direct nature, to extract what is useful and remove that which is harmful. Agronomy is a well-respected field in Lantan, and my father was one of the finest horticulturists in the island. His pioneering research in cross-pollination and grafting techniques was responsible for the creation of 26 unique species of plants. Because my father's work, Lantan's agricultural yields increased, as did the island's supply of medicinal herbs, and the beauty and variety of our flowering species was unparalleled anywhere on the mainland. What, you mean he creates GM crops? Is your father called Monsanto? Monsanto Glinkle? He sounds like a great man. A finer gnome could never be found the length and breadth of Faerun, Tam. I suppose that's why I find the gulf that has grown between us so painful to accept. My father and I had a falling out. Please, Tam, this is difficult for me to speak of. I'm not sure I wish to discuss it with you right now. Perhaps later I will be in a mood to speak more of my tale, but for now we should focus on your mission. The cult responsible for the Wailing Death must be found. Let's try that again, see if he's got any more for us. Just want to talk for a while. I'd like to continue your story. Perhaps later I'll be in the mood to speak more of my tale, but for now we should focus on your mission. Okay, right, you can stay here then. I guess I need to level up before he'll tell me more. I need part ways. Yes, go. Uh, it wouldn't make sense to continue this partnership if you're unhappy. Are you sure you want me to leave? Yes. Then the other thing for do is to split up for now, but I'll remain here in case you decide you needed me again. Good. Who's next? Okay, Linu Lanerl. Linu, what a pleasant surprise. I thought we had parted for good, Tam, but the goodness of her own plans that I must but the goddess has her own plans that I must follow. I went back to the trade of blades to prepare myself for a journey home. I was only there for a few hours when I was approached by Lady Aribeth on behalf of Lord Nesher himself. She told me that Lord Nesher is determined to root out the cult that brought so much suffering to the city. She has ordered all the mercenaries in Neverwinter to come to Port Last and to join the search. I was afraid I might have missed you while I was changing my clothes. Changing your clothes? Oh, I came here in a waitress. I came here in a waitress? Whoa, when I came in here, a waitress spilled some drinks. She soaked your clothes. Well, no, I bumped into her, and when the drinks crashed down, I leapt backwards into a dwarf, knocking his ale over his ale and stew. So that messed you up. No. The food and drinks landed on the floor, but the dwarf crashed into a half-orc, causing the knife he was eating with to slice open his cheek. That's when the brawl started. And you wrecked your outfit in the brawl. I managed to stay out of the brawl, hiding under the table, feeling awfully guilty. When the fight was over, I felt I should help clean up the mess. So you got dirty cleaning up? No. I wore an apron and managed to stay pretty clean, but then I stepped outside for a breath of fresh air and slipped in a mud puddle, so then I had to go change. Why didn't you just tell me you slipped in a puddle from the start? I didn't want you to think I was clumsy. I'm waiting here for the Lord orders of Lady Aribeth. So you're working for Aribeth? Oh no, I don't say Aribeth. She says Aribeth. Lord Nasher, all mercenaries to come to the port last. Lord Nasher ordered all mercenaries to come to Port Last to help discover the whereabouts of the cult that nearly destroyed his city. I spent weeks wearing myself out, trying to help ease the suffering of the plague victims. I jumped at the opportunity to bring the culprits to justice. Have you heard any rumors about the cult since you've come here? I haven't heard anything specific about the cult, but I've heard some trouble around Neverwinter Wood. Neverwinter Wood? I don't know very much, but apparently there was a ranger in town here that was telling of animals savagely attacking anyone in or around the woods. Having failed to destroy us with their terrible disease, it would hardly shock me to find out the cult had struck with a plague of vicious animals. Is there anything else I can help you with, Tam? Uh, or why are you waiting around here? Should you be investigating the problem? I'm not much of an investigator. I've been ordered to travel with anyone who has need of a healer. You're the one who knows how to solve mysteries, Tam. I would love to help you, though. I have strong abilities in the art of healing. I also can stand on my own in a fight. I would be a valuable resource for your quest. I'm often in need of a skilled healer. Join me. It would be a great pleasure, Tam. I look forward to our adventures together. I will follow you and perform the best of my abilities according to the orders you have given me. Anytime you wish me. Heard that before as well. I just want to talk for a while. I love chatting with you, but I don't think we should focus on your mission. Don't you think we should focus on your mission right now? Tell me, how do you like being an adventurer? I always wanted to be an adventurer, Tam. I have a natural curiosity about everything, and I wanted to experience the things I read in books. But I'm from Everesca, the home of philosophers, mages, scholars, and students of the mysteries. Adventurous souls are few, and they are often looked down upon, except one. Oh, who's that? Lanero was a handsome, charismatic, intelligent, adventurous archaeologist. He was respected in Everesca and other intellectual circles in places like Waterdeep. He was considered the most eligible bachelor in Everesca. Your husband? Actually, I didn't like him at first. I was reading a text on an ancient race one night in a temple library. The author was writing about his adventures seeking lost relics in exotic, dangerous locales. I slammed the book on the table, calling the author a lying, pompous fool. Another elf was sitting on a chair near me with his face in a book. He asked me what I was reading. I told him the name of the book, and he laughed. In my youthful arrogance, I went to list a large number of errors in the author's logic. Was it really that bad? When I finished, he began to refute every point I had made. It was, I quickly discovered, synth and when I realized the mistake I had made, I screamed and ran from the room. Despite my blundering, I must have made an impression on him, for he pursued me from that day on. Eventually, he won my heart, though only through an act that almost cost him his life. What did he do? Let us not talk of such things right now, sweet Tam. We must hunt down the cult responsible for the wailing death. Perhaps we can speak of this later when the time is right. Never, ever call me sweet Tam again. I am Tam Axlia, mighty paladin. That is all you're allowed to call me. Uh, right, I need to get rid of her. Think I'll do better off my own. Yes, go. Right. Sharwin. I'm surprised to see you here, Sharwin. And why is that? Just because we went our separate ways in Neverwinter, I'm supposed to disappear off the face of Faerun? If you haven't noticed, there's a shortage of good adventurers. Lady Aribeth approached me at the Trade of Blades to hire me to Lord Nash's behalf, just as you were, I imagine. It looks like Lord Nasher is pulling out all the stops to find this guild. The search in Neverwinter is immense, and we mercenaries have been sent to Port Last to join in the effort with you and Aribeth, lucky us. So you were conscripted into the service by Aribeth? I've been paid good coin for my services by Lord Nasher, actually. It's another chance of acquiring some fame. In my eyes, even though I've been told to merely offer assistance to you and Aribeth for now. So, do you need my help? Do you have any information on the cult behind the Wailing Death? The cult could be practically anywhere. You may want to look in the hills by the Green Griffin Inn. I've heard many tales of monsters raiding the roads nearby in force. Monsters? Bugbears and orcs mostly. Apparently they were directed by some humans, however, which will make it quite odd. At any rate, since Luskin is wrapped up in its own concerns, the countryside has become open season for banditry. These monsters, however, are more organized than is normal. I could use someone by my side. It's about time you asked. I'm at your disposal, Tam. Let's. I just. I just want to talk for a while. Talk about what, Tam? Uh, if we're companions, I'd like to know a little more about you. Mine is no great tale, Tam. If you like, I could tell you the beginnings of my beginnings as a bard. Yes, tell me about that. Well, let's see. I learned the majority of my trade from Dannon, my partner and my love. It was he who took me away from my Neverwinter and my family. We were a team, a singing duo who earned our keep in taverns, travelling from town to town along the Sword Coast. We would camp off the roads, and I would listen in awe as Dannon told me the old legends by firelight. I loved him more as each night passed. So why aren't you with him now? An excellent question. At the time, I didn't think anything could separate us, but he was my first, you see, and my belief in our love was absolute. It turned out that those times were the best. I should have cherished them more, for things were quickly about to get much worse. The fateful day came when we crossed into Am in the south. We received a rather sudden and unexpected invitation to sing before one of the wealthiest courts in Athkatla. Well, Danner was positive that our long months of playing in taverns uh, had caught someone's attention, and that we were to be rewarded. He was overjoyed. Myself, I was hesitant. I was not sure of our abilities, so questioning the motives behind the invitation was far easier. I urged Dannon to ignore the invitation, but naturally he would have none of it. It was the beginning of the end for us, really, though I did not know it. Perhaps it is a story I shall tell you sometime. No, tell me the rest now. No, I've had enough of that story for now. I'm not in the mood, Tam. Come, let us adventure more. That will lift my spirits some, I think. Okay, next. I think I'll do better off my own. Yes, go. Bye. Uh, so we've got Grimnaw, Dalen Red Tiger, and Tommy Undergallows. Dalen Red Tiger. I'm surprised to see you here, Dalen. I know we went our separate ways, Tam, but seems the gods have seen fit to bring us together once more. After we parted ways in Neverwinter, I returned to the trade of blades to offer my skills for hire. It was there that I was approached by Lady Aribeth on behalf of Lord Nasher himself. It seems Lord Nasher is determined to root out this cult that brought so much suffering out to his city. He has ordered all the mercenaries in Neverwinter to come to Port Last to join in the search. So you were conscripted into service by Aribeth. When Aribeth recruited mercenaries, were all paid in advance for our services. Well paid. Lord Nasher is sparing no expense in tracking down these cultists. Did you slack off in the writing there? That is exactly what Bodinock said. I'm pretty sure, word for word. Our instructions were simply to make ourselves available to whomever requires our assistance. So in that spirit, is there anything I can do for you? Do you have any information on the cult behind the Wailing Death? I've heard nothing of the cult, though many suspect, as I do, that answers might be found in the city of Luskan. Luskan? That city has long been an enemy of Neverwinter, an evil blight upon the north. It's widely acknowledged as the home of murderers and thieves, a place with no honor. It would not surprise me to discover links to the cult in that den of evil. Is there anything else I can help you with? I could use a good fighter by my side. It would be an honor to join my blade to your cause. Then I want to find out what his mission is for this one. I just want to talk for a while. My strength is in weapons, not words, Tam. If we're going to be adventuring companions, I'd like to know a little more about you. There are no great secrets about me, Tam. I am what I am. My father was an orc, my mother was an Uthgard of the Red Tiger tribe. I know nothing of my father. My mother would never speak of him, but I was raised among the Red Tiger tribe and customs and traditions of the Uthgar people. I do not know what more I can tell you. Tell me about the Uthgar, about your customs and traditions. We Uthgard are simple but noble people. We hunt in herds and live off the land. We worship the gods of our ancestors and the totems of our tribes. Sometimes in the cities fear us. They call us bloodthirsty savages, but they are ignorant of our ways. We are fierce warriors of great courage and honor, even if they do not understand. What was it like for you growing up? I will not lie. I was never allowed to forget about my father's tainted orc blood. Yet, if the tribe did not embrace me, at least they tolerated me. Like the other young boys of our tribe, I ran and climbed and swam and grew strong. I learned to hunt and fish. I learned the lore of our time, and most importantly, I learned the honor of a warrior. With my mother's death, the time came for me to prove myself worthy of the tribe. I left in search of glory and honor in the outside world. To prove my spirit was true, I went to Luskan. Why did you go to Luskan? It was the closest city to our tribe, though I knew nothing of its foul, rotten character. If I had, I would not have gone. I've tried to forget my time in that accursed city, Tam. The memories are not pleasant. This is not the time to speak of such things, Tam. We must focus on rooting out the cult responsible for the Wailing Death. Perhaps we can speak of this later, when the time is right. Okay, let's ditch you. Better off my own go. Bye. Okay, Grimnaw. Time to kill my voice. You're a creepy dude. What are you doing here, Grimnaw?
When we parted ways, Tam, I meant to return to my order, but I bowed to the Silent Lord and discovered I could best serve his will by staying in Neverwinter for the time being. I'm eager to find and slaughter those who unleashed the wailing death upon Neverwinter. Thousands were taken by the disease, their essence stolen from the grasp of true death. That was why I answered Lord Nasher's desperate call for mercenaries to come to port last. He is also anxious to root out those behind the wailing death.
So you were conscripted into service by Aribeth.
When Aribeth recruited, the mercenaries were all paid in advance for our services. Well paid. Lord Master,
Yeah, they are all saying exactly the same thing.
our instructions were simply to make ourselves available to whomever requires our assistance. So in that spirit, is there anything I can do for you?
Do you have any information behind the cult, behind the Wailing Death?
Oh, excuse me. Goodness gracious. Their location is well hidden. However, I would not be surprised to learn they are connected to the village of Charwood.
Charwood?
The town has isolated itself from the rest of the world, far to the south of Port Last. Few outside my order even remember such a place exists. The town is a strange place. There is a foul taint upon it that we of the Long Death can feel. None of the emissaries my order has sent south to investigate Charwood has ever returned. It would not surprise me to discover links to the cult behind the Wailing Death.
Ooh.
In that unnatural place. Is there more I can do for you, Tam?
I could use a monk by my side.
Then together we shall sow death and destruction throughout the land in our quest to destroy those behind the Wailing Death.
Okay. I just want to talk for a while.
Conversation is one way to pass the time until the Silent Lord comes to claim us. What do you wish to speak about?
If we're going to be traveling together, I'd like to know a little more about you.
I'm a monk of the Order of the Long Death, Tam. I am defined by the customs, tenets, and beliefs of my order. Simply put, I worship death. Understand, I care nothing for the petty gods who squabble over and lay claim to death's portfolio, for I serve death itself, the silent lord who rules us all.
Tell me more about your order, Grimnall.
We of the Long Death train, study, and serve our masters. We strive to transcend the earthly world through mental discipline and philosophical understanding of death. We worship the very essence of the Silent Lord. We honor the tools that prepare us for inevitable, inescapable pain, suffering, torment, agony. Uh, our beliefs are difficult for most people to accept, and the Order of the Long Death has many powerful enemies.
What kind of enemies are you talking about?
Our embrace of the Silent Lord has brought us into conflict with many who do not understand the beauty of death. Many fear the mortal end, for most will simply use pain, anguish, torture, and suffering to release them for this fear. We prepare them for the cold embrace of the Silent Lord. But there are some who go to extremes to avoid their fate. They use foul rituals and dark necromancy to deny the Silent Lord that which is his due.
You're talking about the undead, right? Liches and zombies and the like.
The undead are a foul abomination, a denial of our natural order. We of the Long Death are in constant conflict with necromancers and their minions. I've seen this firsthand, the horrors of the war of the undead, Tam.
What do you mean?
This is not the time to speak of such things, Tam. We must focus on rooting out the cult responsible for the Wailing Death. Perhaps we're going to speak of this later, when the time is right.
You're a sick, evil man, Grimnall. Too evil for my tastes. I think it's just time we parted my ways. Let's do that. He's a sick, evil man, though. I'm surprised to see you here, Tommy, because you died the last time I saw you. Yeah, well, what's a halfling supposed to do? Me, I go where the money is. After you and I separated ways, Miss Aribeth there approached me and gave me plenty of money to hop along to this pony ride of hers. We're all supposed to help with the search. Seems like Lord Nasher wants to get rid of all the cultists who started this fight. I say, good for him. Just goes to show that not all people are useless and should be killed, you know? So you were conscripted into service by Aribeth. I've already been paid by Miss Aribeth, and good coin too, I might add. You'd think this Lord Nasher fellow belched gold at will. I was just told I'm supposed to help out whoever I can. How sweet and unspecific is that? I don't suppose you actually want something, do you? Do you have any information on the cult behind the Wailing Death? Nothing more than anyone, no. You ask me, though, Luskan's the place to look. Luskan? Oh, the city has pirates and thieves galore. Anyone with any kind of bad reputation is more than welcome there. I assure you, been there a few times myself. What better place than a frog to hide amongst the toads? Uh, than amongst toads. Not that I've evidence to back that up or anything. I could use a good rogue by my side. Well, isn't it a coincidence that I happen to be a good rogue? Fine. This one rabbit town was beginning to bore me anyway. Oh yeah, let's get a story. I just need to talk. Oh, what do you have in mind, my lord? If we're going to be companions, I'd like to know more about you. Well, there's only so much you can know about me, my lord. Tommy Undergallows be the most famous halfling rogue in all of Gallenport, and that about sums it up. Oh, half my tales of treachery and deceit, likes of which have been told to wide-eyed little Callumshite children for many years. But I doubt you'd be interested in that. Oh, go on. You know you want to tell me. Well, let's see. Tommy's had a bunch of friends and a bunch of enemies in his time. There's only been one who's been both. My arch nemesis, Samuel Bumbleart. Sammy and I were pals back in the good old days when we used to run wild through the streets as wee little urchins, stealing avocados and pinching purses. When we started to gain a bit of notoriety, when I started to get a bit of notoriety on my own, however, Sammy became a mite jealous, poor lad. Fame was always Sammy's thing. He's always loved attention ever since he did that striptease in a half-orc bar to keep from being pummeled. I've always thought he was a bit of a diva. You seem to rather enjoy the fame yourself. No, not so much. It's a bit hard to pick a pocket when you've 20 suspicious eyes on you. Great with the lasses, though, I admit. Sammy was content for a while, but he'd get mad when folks would always recognise me first. The guards would chase me down the street and he'd complain, why didn't they chase me? Oh, he tried to show me up as the thief. Not very good, however. I only landed him in prison. In Kalimshan, that means you're as good as hung. I busted him out the first time, but that only embarrassed him. No good deed goes unpunished, you know. So Sammy had to take action. You'd think he'd be thankful for the help. Well, the truth is, I didn't really mean to break him out. It was an accident, the kind that brings down half the prison and causes a mass escape. Happens all the time. Trust me. I don't know why Sammy was so mad. Really, he just seemed to lose it completely. All that shouting and turning red in the face. It was just so sad. After all, he'd only broken a couple of legs. He could still walk, even if it was with a limp. Could I be held completely to blame? At any rate, Sammy decided enough was enough. It was time to ruin his best pal, Tommy, once and for all. What did he do? Sammy came up with a plan. Not the brightest plan, I suppose, but he was never much of a planner. His last plan, in fact, was ice that ended up with him being left naked and cold on a ship to Maztica. Well, all right, I did forget to go pick him up, but it was his plan. This plan would be different, however, or so he thought. I'll have to tell you about it sometime, my lord. Oh wow, it didn't even give me an option to try and convince him to talk more. I want to talk. Continue your story. Nah, this isn't time, my lord. We have cultists to find and cut into little cultist-sized bits, don't we? Okay, cool. Right, well that's that done. Uh, so we'll head off on a quest, and I'll do that in the next video. So end that video.